And now, GroupCollect presents GroupCollect The Podcast. Welcome, everyone, to GroupCollect The Podcast, the only show on the internet that brings you insights from the world of group travel technology, as well as news about your favorite group travel tech company, which is, of course, GroupCollect. I'm your host, Eric Young, and today I am joined from Weymouth, Massachusetts by our product manager, Ryan Kramer, and from Hudson, New York State, filling in for Kathleen Wiles. Today we have our very special guest host, GroupCollect's marketing manager, Carly Maher. Carly, how excited are you to be on the show right now?
I'm pumped.
Oh.
I'm a big podcast listener and I'm a big, GroupCollect. I'm a groupie, as Ryan would say.
Yes.
I'm a GroupCollect groupie.
Yes.
I got that. I got that from Eric. Just credit where credit is due.
Oh, well, worlds collide.
I feel like also our own team is a little bit divided on that term, so we might have a conversation.
I love it.
But we're the ones making the podcast, so we've put it out there now.
I mean, the alternate is collector, but with an OR, because ER doesn't purvey the seriousness of what we do. So like the collector, and I would rather be a groupie than a collector, you know?
Yeah, right. I think it's okay. I guess what we have to do, because I can say I'm a groupie, but I can't say that about somebody else. I can just say it about myself.
We're groupies. That's what it is. And that's what it's going to be. On today's episode, we want to chop it up here with our special co-host, Carly Maher. Carly, we have had the pleasure of working with you for a little over a year now here at GroupCollect. And we would love for the listeners to get to know you almost as well as we do here, the ones who are fortunate enough to get to work with you. So why don't we just jump right into it? Tell us your title and what it is that you do primarily for GroupCollect.
Sure. So my title is marketing manager, and I work with Erik. I mean, we are kind of the two, kind of three with Keith, but we're the little marketing powerhouse over here. And I was brought onto the team because of my digital marketing prowess, I guess. So yeah, that's mainly what I do, connecting this wire to that wire, SEO, website stuff, all the digital marketing parts that go into the engine. And all of that is to complement a lot of the creative stuff that Erik puts out. And we sort of put our heads together and we make our campaigns. And yeah, so we're really like crushing it on the B2B marketing for GroupCollect, I think.
Carly, can you tell our listeners a little bit about your background and how you found yourself in the marvelous industry that is group travel?
Sure. I went to college for something totally different, as most people can relate to, and kind of fell into marketing. I started working in marketing before I graduated and did agency stuff and contract stuff. And then I started working at a travel insurance company. So insurance being a word that makes people recoil. I worked there for 8 years. It was a great experience. And I wore just about every hat that you can wear in marketing when I was over there. And because of the connections that I made over there, there's so many people that you meet on the travel side of travel insurance. And yeah, because of those connections, I'm here at GroupCollect today.
Okay, so you had mentioned that we consider ourselves a marketing power duo, sometimes power trio, when Keith is able to work with us on projects. And I was actually a little bit upset with myself that I didn't already know the answer to this question. What is one marketing trend that you love, and what's one that you hate?
So one that I love fits very well with the theme, and it's human first interactions are big for 2026. That's across industries. I personally think that it's a pushback from AI. The pendulum always swings the other way. And another kind of adjacent one is that because of this human first thing, it's like more of the marketing is being pushed out from the marketing department and sort of shared with sales teams. And the sales teams are making those like first person, not impressions, but like they're maintaining those relationships. And so it's kind of like that is the way that it always was. And then it kind of went so digital and so online, and it is coming back the other way. And it's more about talking to people face to face, maybe talking to people on the phone, and less through like one click connections. So that's one that I like. But it is butting up against AI. And that's the one that I hate.
No kidding.
So hate is a strong word, but AI in terms of marketing, where it applies most to us and to me and maybe to my everyday is that people have totally, I'm being hyperbolic, but people have lost faith in traditional search engines, as I'm sure a lot of us can relate to, like through firsthand
Like personally.
experience.
Oh yeah.
Yes, like it was like maybe 2, 3 years ago now that I noticed that Google does often not give you what you want when you're searching. So that's a problem. And it really hasn't gotten any better. I actually don't know what the reason for that is. You know, everybody's like the algorithm. We don't really know what that means. But because people aren't using search engines as much and in the way that they used to, the way that people search now is through social media and through AI.
Right.
And so there is this type of SEO called GEO, generative engine optimization. So that's like a new thing that you have to do to market yourself to make sure that you're showing up appropriately when people are searching for you or your services using something like ChatGPT. So that's just a new thing in the mix. I say that knowing full well that we haven't done that yet at GroupCollect. Yeah, but it's for sure a trend. I don't hate it because I don't know enough about it, but I do hate the idea of it. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
You know, I mean, interesting. And if we could stay on that topic for just a second, I wonder, you know, I know that AI was bound to emerge, you know, in the way that it has one way or another. But if like maybe something to do with the way that, you know, how quickly it was adopted in the last year or so had something to do with search engines dropping the ball and there being like this power vacuum of like how we use the internet because that,
Yes.
you know, really obviously became a very big part of everyone's life. We need to be able to search and research things on the internet. And our most fundamental tool, the search engine, was continually kind of dropping the ball and failing us. And so, you know, now you have something that's more conversational and kind of performing the job of what the search engine did, and it's a little bit cleaner and less adalicious, whatever you want to say there.
Adalicious, yeah.
Yeah, adalicious, that's the word. That's
Mhm.
definitely.
Adidocious.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I can only like I haven't read any think pieces on this or even any Business Insider or anything like that. I can just say from being a customer of it, having used it myself, being a consumer, yes, we all noticed when Google started going bad. I don't know if that was to push us to a similar product they were pushing out, which was Gemini. And they're like, well, now we have Gemini. This is our AI. You know, you
Ah.
need to use Gemini. But it was happening across the board. And what I noticed about using stuff like Claude and ChatGPT years
Mhm.
ago is that you would kind of search for something or you would ask it something and it would reference the internet and it would say, my knowledge is only up to date as of, you know, I don't know, May 2023 or something like that. And you're reading that in like January 2024.
Mhm.
And so you can't at that time it was like this just isn't what it's used for. It's not giving you the most up-to-date information because that's where they're not offering that. It's not under the guise of anything. They're just like, yeah, I'm not updated. Um, like a whole year could go by.
Yeah.
And now it's not that way. Now it's like up to the minute updated.
So let's say if you were to tell a group travel professional, and there are many of them in our network, there are many of them listening right now, one sentiment of marketing advice for this year, 2026, what would it be?
This one ties into the human connection component, the pendulum swinging back the other way. Relationships are so important. They always have been, they always will be. Uh, but marketing wise, a good way to capitalize on that is reviews. Coming up with a strategy to get reviews and also a good way to present them and put them out there. Like getting on with a review site, whatever applies to your industry. Like for us, we've been looking at Trustpilot and Capterra because we're a tech company, but and Google reviews. Google reviews are big still too. So if you can find a way to work that into your strategy to get reviews from people, honest reviews, and then you have to take it a step further and say, post those on social media or put them on your website, put them in emails, make sure that people know about them, because people, it's word of mouth. It's coming back to word of mouth, and it doesn't have to be someone that you know. But those types of reviews from people that have had real experiences with you are going to go farther than actually anything right now.
That's a great point because when you have your travelers out there out on the road, that's the time to be thinking about like how can we work into the passenger experience a way where we can be collecting feedback in a natural way at the point where presumably they're having the best time. Their feedback is the freshest and the most raw. And, if you're delivering a solid product, then, that's when you want to be catching it. I had a conversation with somebody this month as well that was thinking about doing that strategy, but specifically with video. And,
Yes.
It's like now the barrier to that is even lower than ever because Bluetooth microphones and the 4K camera on your phone is, just is so incredibly accessible. And so you can be, if you're thinking about it that way of like, how can I develop a low effort yet formal system to be capturing reactions from passengers and testimony and then utilizing that in both video and written so that it can be on the web and et cetera, et cetera. It does take some forethought and intention, but it's not that challenging.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why I am kind of hammering on strategy. If you come up with a strategy in a way that you can um, do this kind of like cyclically and in this sort of like renewable way, so that it's kind of like this churning engine that's always cooking. That's the best way to do it. It's also to your point about like get them when they're happy, that type of review. That's good. Variation is good too, though, because if something does go wrong, an equally good review is like this thing went wrong, but the company really did a lot and very quickly to help me resolve it or whatever it was. So it's like um, you could have like 100 reviews saying like, "Oh, it was such a great time and everything was perfect," and then people actually do read them. So the nuance of like, this was kind of the problem that I had, and this was what was done to help me, and that can be really effective and real. It comes across as real.
Yeah. And I think that that's what this all kind of roots back to is that the pendulum swing nowadays is back towards not just human interaction but authenticity. That's the great existential crisis of our time, isn't it? Of like, what is real? What can I believe? And so the more that you can generate that authentic content in your marketing, then you might be setting yourself up for a good time. All right, Carly. So here's our final question, and we greatly appreciate you sitting in for this interrogation. But again, this is all in the name of our listeners getting to know you. So this is a nice fun one. What's your favorite place that you have ever traveled, or like the sleeper destination that you've been to that you feel like not enough people know about?
Yes, I thought about this, and this might not be a hidden gem. It might just be a gem. I don't think people know that much about it. Eureka Springs, Arkansas. I was there for a few days and it wasn't long enough. So I had gone to a film festival, and it's in the Ozarks. It's such an unexpected place. It's a town of like, I don't know, I want to say like 2,000 people or something. Um, it is like being in Europe. Everything is historically protected by their historical society. I think because it's so old, you can go on tours where they show you that it's hard to explain, but like the whole city used to be a level lower. So it's like if you're standing outside a boutique storefront, that storefront used to be like under the street level. And so it is, there was a, well, while I was there was a lady that I kept seeing around who was in a wheelchair. And I was genuinely wondering how she was getting around because it is not handicap accessible whatsoever.
Oh no.
It's like, so I'll just say that very narrow sidewalks, a lot of bumps and everything. And it's like they will not slash cannot fix that stuff because
Right.
it is protected by the historical society.
Right.
I think I'm saying things that make it not sound good. It's amazing. It's a wonderful place.
Well,
It's
I mean,
like,
it's in their defense that it's not that they are actively choosing not to be ADA friendly, right? It's like, well,
no.
the people of this town have decided that we would be actively tampering with history by putting in this wheelchair ramp,
Yeah, unfortunately. Yes, but yeah, so it is so cool, and they don't have any like chains, like you won't find a chain restaurant there or anything. Like now they have this film festival called Nightmare in the Ozarks. It's like a whoever you are, like whatever you believe, come here. Like everybody is welcome type of place. Like it's a musical place, it's an artistic place, it's
The dream of the
film and
90s is alive in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
absolutely. It was so and the other big thing that they have like an impressive LGBTQ population there.
Okay.
It's just like unexpected. And the other thing that they have in town is what they call the passion plays,
Okay.
which is like they do these plays. I'm totally speaking out of turn because I don't know, I just looked it up on my phone while I was there, but it's like a big part of the town. It's like the Passion of the Christ. It's like Christ's crucifixion, and they do like a live dramatic version of it, and people
Whoa.
come from all over to watch this. So it's kind of like these two communities at the same time, and like everybody gets along, and it's really cool, and they're like very involved with each other, and it is a gem in more ways than one. It's like kind of communities colliding and all different kinds of people. Very cool. Highly recommend.
My goodness. Well, remind me to tag the CVB of Eureka Springs, Arkansas, when we post this episode.
They owe me money. Yeah,
They need-
I'll tell them where to send my check.
All right, everybody, we're going to pause the episode here for just a moment to say this was about the point in the show we were going to transition to an interview with a group travel industry partner to get their reflections on GroupCollect Ops. However, that interview has been rescheduled for the April episode, so please make sure you check out the next episode of GroupCollect the Podcast to hear that real industry feedback on GroupCollect Ops. But let's take a quick step back. What is GroupCollect Ops even? GroupCollect Ops is, of course, our latest and greatest group travel planning platform that will help you streamline operations when planning a group trip, and one of the ways that it does that is with the brand new communications feature. Now, this feature is unique because now within GroupCollect Ops, you'll be able to have a chat with your industry partners, but the big difference between this and any other method of communication is that you'll be having this conversation within the context of the trip that you're planning together right there in the platform. That means you'll be looking at the same trip name, the same dates, the same number of passengers. All of those details will already be there for you automatically. Plus, you can easily share documents and proposals in the communications feature and then have them stored exactly where you need them in GroupCollect Ops without having to dig through email or trying to remember where you saved things. So planning a group trip really can be as easy as just having a chat with your favorite industry partners, and GroupCollect Ops makes all of that possible. So please see the show notes for how to gain system access today if you are interested in using GroupCollect Ops, and please enjoy the rest of our conversation where Ryan, Carly, and I reflect on the relationship-first elements of the group travel industry that GroupCollect Ops harnesses and that led to the development of the communications feature within the platform. So we'll pick right back up with that, and please enjoy. Ryan, I feel like we need your commentary before we wrap up this episode. Relationships in the group travel industry, why are they important? Talk to me.
I mean, it's everything. It just is, and it's the relationships, not only with your clients, but also with your suppliers, with your partners. I always like to say that when you go to CIDA or when you go to ABA, to these annual conferences, it doesn't feel like any other trade show. It feels like kind of as cliche as it sounds, a family kind of reconvening together there. And I think that, as we build this revolutionary tool here with GroupCollect Ops, I think that we're going to do some good work to not only not eliminate that piece of the puzzle, but actually to strengthen it through features like that incredible comms feature.
Carly, talk to us about the comms feature. Why do you feel that that is going to be something that not only avoids diminishing relationships in group travel between tour operators and suppliers, but actually improves them?
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to improve those one-to-one connections, because it literally is a way for you to keep in touch one-on-one, and follow the whole communication of the thing that you're talking about, which in this case, for what I've seen so far, booking,
Right.
like to be talking about this thing. It's not like you called and then you have to remember something and then there was an email and where was that? And it's like it's all in one spot. Um, and generally it's between it's one-on-one. It's like I can see what they said and this is what I said back. It's something that you can save, something that you can reference. I think it's like a total game changer.
I think that you absolutely nailed it, because there for decades now has not been any shortage of methods to getting in touch with people. I don't know why, but I
Right.
just thought of the Office episode about Woof. Remember where there was where there's like 11 ways that you can contact somebody at once. But here we are in the year 2026, and we are developing the one way where you can communicate with somebody that is connected with the way that you book your group travel and that you keep
Yes.
all of that organized. So stick around, stick with GroupCollect Ops. There's going to be some links in the show notes where if it is just your time, you have heard us go on and on about it enough, and you are ready to start using it, there's going to be a link down in the show notes where you can get in touch with Bryce
Right, like many of the groupies is a very good hang, I will say. So we might as well reach out to him.
I'll tell you what, it's been a spicy episode of GroupCollect the Podcast, everyone, and we appreciate all of the listeners out there. This is a reminder, you can find this show on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. If you have any thoughts, feedback, or would like to be a guest on the show, hit me up personally at Erik, that's ERIK, at GroupCollect.com. On behalf of all of my co-hosts and all of my fellow groupies, this is your monthly reminder to stay cool and collecting! This has been a GroupCollect production.